He builds something up, and in one way or another, he will destroy it. He built up the House of Yahweh, then he destroyed it by making it become a polygamous doomsday slave compound.
The famine now that is that's taking place throughout the world. It's spreading throughout the world. Now, this is one of the things that the prophecies predict for this time period, along with this nuclear baby that will kill a third part of men over a fourth part of the earth.
My family is a member of the House of Yahweh, and so I have a question for the lawyer. Psychiatrists, doctors, counselors, and ministers usually have malpractice insurance because the law usually holds them at least partially responsible for the things that they teach.
What is your question, dear?
And so my question is, shouldn't Israel Hawkins be held partially at least responsible for like the death of Bia and for the destruction he's wreaked on so many lives?
There are 3 deaths that have occurred on the compound. A 7-year-old girl in 2003. In 2006, a woman died during childbirth. Her husband claims she was denied treatment. And a 1-month-old died of malnutrition and asphyxiation. No charges have been filed in that.
House of Yahweh grounds.
Were those House of Yahweh?
None of that was on House of Yahweh grounds.
Were those House of Yahweh followers?
Have you ever heard of the House of Yahweh? Well, it's kind of a cult. Founded by a man named Buffalo Bill Hawkins. Is that the name of a Giga Chad right there, or what? The thing is about cults is a lot of religious cults, right? They follow the same things, a lot of them, like live morally, you know? Some pretty simple stuff that, you know, Christianity, you know, Catholics, Protestants, and even Judaism, a lot of stuff that they believe, they also believe. So it's kind of the hardest part about a cult is to use that, because a lot of other religions do that as well, right? The thing about cults is they all have this one itty-weeny tiny little detail, is that there's super weird things that they do, right? And House of Yahweh is no exception. And when I mean weird, I mean really weird. Stay tuned to learn how to avoid death by nuclear war. In 1974, Bill's brother, Jacob Hawkins, returned from a 7-year visit to Israel, claiming he had found proof of Yahweh's name. What that means, I have no idea. They then founded the House of Yahweh in the best state for cults, Texas. They believe that it is of utmost importance that people refer to the Creator as Yahweh, and that all other names like God or Jesus or Lord or even the Hebrew name Elohim are names of false idols and strange deity gods. Crazy, right? Most of their belief system is pretty close to Judaism, as they follow the Pentateuch, the law, you know, the Torah. They follow all these things. They're extreme kosherists. That's not a word, and hopefully I didn't insult anybody. They follow the kosher diet as well. They follow a lot of dietary restriction, a lot of law, right? A lot of law, which is, it's pretty common. I mean, the Judaism follows this stuff as well. So, you know, nothing wrong with that. They follow a lot of normal stuff like that, like polygamy. That's a joke. From here, though, it gets a little weird. In 1980, Bill changed his name to Israel Hawkins and proclaimed that himself and his brother were prophesied in both the Old and New Testament of the Bible as the 2 witnesses that were going to come and tell people how to live and not die in the end of days. And all this, you know, all this was revealed to him in a dream, you know? It seems that a lot of acclaimed cults believe in visions or dreams, and the thing is, who's going to dispute it, right? Who's going to dispute it? Sounds right to me. Nope. Maybe a sane person would dispute it, because that's crazy, right? It's actually, they would also try and convince to change all of their followers' last names to Hawkins, right? You know, narcissist much? He also believes that global warming is caused by STDs, which is absolutely hilarious.
What's your question, dear? Very quickly.
Well, I was on the website, on your guest's website today, and he's making a claim that that global warming is caused by STDs, and I just wanted to ask him about that.
What about it, Mr. Hawkins? Global warming caused by STDs, sexually transmitted diseases?
Yes, that's exactly true. The firmament is being destroyed by STDs at this time. And if the scientists are checking this right now.
What scientists?
They're on, I can't give you their names, but they're checking it right now. They've got samples of the air already from different heights, and they're going after this information right now that we have announced is actually a result of global warming.
I mean, look at that face. A man who looks like he's definitely had prophetic visions. What's better than a cult? A cult that has doomsday predictions. And trust me, this cult has a lot of doomsday predictions. In 1999, in a Channel 4 documentary, Hawkins stated that 4/5 of the world's population is going to be wiped out between now and the middle of the year 2002. Mark it on your calendar. 4/5 of the world's population. He was then asked, what if what you're saying doesn't happen? You know, a logical question, right? A logical question. His reply was, there is no possibility that it could not take place, just as I have told you. Obviously, that didn't happen. Another prediction that old Bill made, right, is that on September 12th, 2006, the world would be destroyed by nuclear war, and that his compound in Albine, Texas, would be spared from the impending doom. We had better all get there, guys. We better all make our way to Albine, Texas. You know, nothing bad ever happens in Texas. Believe it or not, the House of Yahweh had grown to the international level, right? So they had a lot of followers across the globe, some even in Kenya, which is amazing, you know? Way to be inclusive, right? Well, the people in Kenya found out about all this, right? And they immediately were like, guys, we got to go tell everybody that they're all about to die. They need to know that they're all going to die. So they went and did just that. And they ended up getting arrested, right, for disturbing the peace, right, and freaking people out, as, you know, you would if you were around out in 2006, right? 9/11 just happens like a couple years ago, and you're saying that the world's going to end in nuclear war? That's pretty scary. They did eventually get released from prison after they said, listen, we're not going to spread, you know, all kinds of fear and terror through the public. And they did get released, which is great. But, you know, obviously, we didn't all go boom, boom. And the leaders of Kenya promptly fled, right? They got out of there fast, because you know what's worse than being arrested for, you know, spreading news about an upcoming apocalypse is the apocalypse not even happening, right? The real question is, how does one come back from such a stupid and crazy thing as to predict the end of the world through nuclear war and it not happen? Basically, another doomsday prediction the next year. Hawkins basically amended his prediction and said that nuclear war wasn't going to happen, that it was actually conceived, right? And that it would be born 9 months later on June 12th, 2007. Real way to save it there. Almost fumbled. You almost made everybody believe you're a weirdo and a whack and a cult and a quack, right? Nope. You really saved it right there. You would think that everyone would be like, I don't know about this guy. Seems to be making some funny predictions. I'm sure some of his followers thought that. I mean, not everyone is that stupid, right? House of Yahweh went all out on this one, right? They got a doomsday counter on their website. Like a Fortnite live event. What? Also, they didn't know if nuclear war was going to happen on the 12th, or maybe months leading up to it. That's really reassuring, right? According to an interview with Israel Hawkins on ABC News, Hawkins states, it could be turned loose before then. You're going to see this very soon. Really soon. Hundreds of truck trailers were loaded up with water and food and were shipped to his 44-acre compound at Texas to prepare for the end of days. And according to former members of the cult, this is where it all starts to make sense, right? They were required to buy doomsday supplies from a company that was owned by Hawkins, right? And you know, it makes complete sense, because all cults really are about is how to get your money, right? Money and power, right? And he's got both now, you know? Every time he makes a doomsday prediction, better buy that doomsday stuff, better buy my package. I'll give you 2 for the price of 1. Give me $50, you know? I love your money. I mean, maybe I should make a doomsday prediction, right? The only way to survive is to subscribe to the channel. Hawkins did continue to make another doomsday prediction, and then the cult itself made a prediction back in 2016 that nuclear destruction would occur before Christmas. I'm not quite sure why they have the obsession with nuclear war. All I know is that it's absolutely hilarious. They even wrote a book titled Birth of the Nuclear Baby. That's actually a real thing. It's crazy. Look it up. After doing some digging on the internet, I came across a video by House of Yahweh. I'm pretty sure I butchered that first name, but honestly, link's gonna be in the description. The video is an interview with a former member of the House of Yahweh, a man named, and this is gonna be rough, Rakia Hawkins, that was kicked out. The reason, he was using the cult's garden, right, to feed the other members of the cult who were hungry. I don't understand why that's not a good thing, but you know, here's the video.
How did you get here? I mean, why are you here? Let's put it that way.
Why am I here? Well, I was kicked out of the House of Yahweh for stealing food. And
what do you mean stealing food?
well, I was bringing food to other people that were in the work along with me, who told me they were hungry, and I was running a garden, and a lot of the garden food we were dumping out to chickens and the dogs. And so I decided to take some of the food and help my fellow workers out with, and then that was the excuse they used to put me out. I had them call the sheriff of Callahan County, and he drove me away. And so I left everything and sold things as I needed to provide for my needs, and eventually I got down to nothing. And when I got down to nothing, that's when he told his guys to kick me out.
Well, why do you think?
I wasn't paying bills and I wasn't being profitable for him. I was an unprofitable servant.
So why do you think that he kicked you out? I mean, some of his children live very well. I mean, why is it that you? I mean, first of all, you said you stole food. I mean,
well,
were you taking food from people, or are you just taking it out? You said it was for the animals.
Well, a lot of the food, the extra food, would be poured out for the chickens and put in the gardens. And I'd worked and used grown gardens for him, and a lot of it had just gone to waste, looked like waste to me. And when a fellow worker would come and ask for either money or things because he was hungry, I would give him money sometimes if I had it, and then other times I finally was growing a garden almost by myself, and then I started reaping the corners to provide for the needs of the workers. These were actual workers in the House of Yahweh. They weren't workers, they weren't people from outside.
I apologize for the quality. If you'd like to watch the full interview, a link will be in the description of the video, so you can go check it out and watch the whole thing. Honestly, it's pretty interesting what he has to say. When all is said and done, the thing that this cult is really about is money, right? They don't really care about the people or even their own members, right? They manipulate people, whether it's through insane doomsday predictions or some other strange teachings, right? They're all about controlling the people. All they want is your money, especially Israel Hawkins. And once you're no longer to give them any money, they kick you out, put you on the street, and basically forget about you, which honestly is pretty common in cults. But what do you think? I'd honestly like to hear your opinion, so please leave a comment down below. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. It helps more than you know, and don't forget to leave the like. That also helps the video get out there to reach other people. Thank you, and you have a nice day. Special thanks to Donut, Lorelli, Catherine, Bailey McMillan, Skepticus Maximus, Sean Morrissey for subscribing. If you'd like to be listed at the end of another video, please subscribe and even comment that you subscribe to have a higher chance of getting listed. Thank you. You have a nice day.